Hi. A while back I did a tutorial on how you could set up a piston rig like this to animate. And this guy called Arman wrote me a note and asked why didn't I make a tutorial first on how to model the piston rig so they had something ready to animate. So I thought, why not? I got some spare time here, so I'll try model a piston rig again, similar to this one here. I'm not going to use a lot of time on measuring the real piston size and so on, because then it's gonna be like a 2 hour long tutorial. But I'm gonna wing it through, and you can see how you could set something up like this. So I'm going to start in my modeler here, and I'm going to create a disk in the center over here, and I'm going to put this to say 24 sides here, and okay, and I'm going to layer 2. I'm going to make 2 disks here, and this is going to be for the holes, so I'm going to make them 8 sides. I'm going to try to as much as possible to model this with subpatching, but not the pistons themselves. In this case, they're just going to be rather quick. So 8 here for the hole, and I'm going to clone this somewhat down here. I'm going to change back, and let's take these points here and stretch up like this, and I'm going to take the center point here, drag them down like this, and I'm just going to split these here with a connect to get a bit of an edge here, and I can split here again, and I'm just going to merge all these by selecting them and pressing Shift C like this. So we got kind of the base shape here. Perhaps this one here is going to be dragged down a bit like this, and that seemed pretty fine. So I'm going to go to layer 2 here, extrude these, and I'm going to then slice these within this plane. So I'll shift around here, Shift C for solid drill, and I'm select slice to cut this here. Now this here hole I'm going to drag down to like perhaps here, and the center shaft I'm going to make a bit bigger here, so I'm just going to stretch this like this. Okay, so let's go into here. You see I have my planes. These two I can use for later, so I'll cut these out and place in another layer. And this here I'm then going to cut up, because if we subpatch this now, this is going to be a nightmare. So we need to split this up, and I'm going to use Catmull Clark, because this is going to make this a bit easier. So remember down here to select Catmull Clark. I'm then going to split this up using connect, that is the L key, to separate this up in some parts here. That is fairly even, to get a nice balance of the polygon structure in the end. hopefully. Like this, and this looks fairly simple. And if I subpad this now, you see this is not that messy. It's looking rather good. So we need to give this some thickness now and some edges. So I'm going to extrude this a fair amount here. I'm then going to slice with a knife, Shift K, up here. And I'm going to do this because I want to sharpen the edges of this here. If not, we get this soft edges here. I want them sharper, so I'm going to first slice there, and I'm going to select all the polygons here and multiply and multi-shift, because then I can extract this in. I'm going to look down here that I'm not going to mess up, and this looks rather fine. So, as you see now, I got a pretty nice shape here, which is fairly decent. So, I'm going to use the discs here I made, and I'm going to just popping this around like this, and I'm going to extrude these again, and I'm just going to bevel these, B for bevel, B for bevel, and B for bevel, like this. And that's going to give us some nice cylinders here. I'll just cut this in the middle. To get a nice polygon flow. Like this. So, we are this far now, and 7.5 minutes. So it's gonna be a little longer tutorial, but what the hell, a lot of this can be cloned, so no problem there. First of all, I'll change layer here again, and we need this one here to be cloned. So I'll just mirror this over here, Shift V, and I'll move this, say, here perhaps. I'll change back, and this here I'm going to fit for the hole. Just let it stick out a bit here. And this one I can center. And the top here is not going to go through here, because then this is not going to work. So this is going to be out here instead. And I'm going to mirror this on the other side as well. Just let them stick out a bit here. And as you see now, we got kind of the base here for this. So we need to make the piston arms here that is going to go up to the piston here. So I'm going to place this in the background so I can use this here as a reference. So I'm going to model a disk here again at 8 points, and I'm going to give it a bit of thickness here like this, and we can just center this up. Now this is going to go around the cylinder here, so it actually got to be a bit bigger. So I'm just going to stretch this up, and I'm going to hit this, and B for bevel, and I'm going to take this here, drag it in, and I'm then going to bridge this, because then we are going to force a hole in between here. So construct, combine, bridge, as you see now, and then I'm going to cut this off here, and I'm going to close these holes here, selecting in clockwise order and pressing P for make polygon, and again, and I'm going to rise this just a little bit, just a tad, because we need a little bit of spacing in between here. So I'm gonna slice here with a knife, Shift K, like here, and I'm going to select these polygons, and I'm going to hit E for extend, and then stretch this out even wise from the center. And I would like this to become sharper in the edge. As you see now, if I subpatch this, it's kind of soft, so I need to slice this up a bit. First of all, I want to rise these two a bit, and I want to slice with a knife here and with a knife here. Similar to this. Okay. And then you see here it's kind of round and here it's round, so we need to sharpen this up as well. So I'll just knife here and knife here. See, this helped a lot, like this. So I can then mirror this down, and we got something that is totally enclosing the disc here, or the cylinder, like this. And as you see here, we are getting a little bit close here, so I'm going to move this up just a tad. I'm going to move this down just a tad, like this. So we need now to give this some extra detail, so I'm going to select here at the bottom. I'm just going to multi-shift this, extend, multi-shift, and click, and drag it in a bit, and right click to multi-shift again, and I'm going to extract this out, and then done. And this is going to give me this nice little detail here, so it looks a little bit more advanced. And the same I'm going to do up here on the top, and multi-shift, click, drag it in a bit, right click to multi-shift again, and drag it up like this. And this is looking really good. So I need to extend the shaft here, so E for extend, drag it up, E for extend, drag it up, and I'm just going to stretch this to become flat, like this. You can see without the sub patch. This one here I'm going to narrow down a bit, and I can then mirror this And I have to be aware that when I mirror this, I get some polygons inside, so I'm gonna kill them. And now we got an entire shaft here. And if we subpatch this, it looks pretty nice. We could go in and give it some extra detail, if we like, with the subpatching and so on, but I'm not gonna waste time on that right now. This is looking pretty decent. So, we now need to, perhaps I want to slice it once here in the middle, just to make it a little harder on the top edge. Yes, I would like that. It's looking pretty good. And just for the safety now, I'm going to hit save, test pistons, like this. And we are this far. Very good. We could stretch this a bit if we like, to make it a bit more powerful, like this. That looks good. So we now are missing the piston. So I'm going to a new layer here, and I am going to make a huge disk here, and I'm going to cut some holes in this piston here. So my plan is not to model this right now as subpatching, but as a normal model. So I want to crank in some polygons here, so we have something to make it nice. And let's just shape a piston here really fast. I'm going to select the top here, and B for bevel up a bit, and then I'm going to bevel in. So we got some edge for the piston rings. Like this. And let's make a nice edge here. Just bevel this in a bit again. Like this. This is a good start. So drag this down a bit, and we then need, we can extend this a bit to get it similar to the other one. So I wanna take this here, I'm going to bevel this a bit again, and I'm going to slice here, and I'm going to select some of the polygons here. We have 12. I'm going to stretch this together like this. 12. Like this. And I can then take this here, bevel this, which apparently I can't now because I got some kind of polygon error. Just a second. I think perhaps Modeler didn't like the way I stretched this together. I'll try just splitting this up. That was a lot better. And I will use multi-shift now that we have two polygons. And I will give this an edge. Right click to multi-shift again, drag this in, like this, multi-shift again, multi-shift again, and I'm going to drag this up into the piston. So we got a nice piston shape here. Perhaps we can take this and drag it somewhat up here, and then drag the piston a bit down and drag this. New pistons in cars is not that high as it was on my old model, but again, this is an example. So we need to cut through here. So I'm going to make a disc. I'm going to use this to cut the entire way through the piston here. So I'm going to use this in foreground and background, and Shift B for Boolean, subtract, OK, and M for merge. And we now got this hole here. So I can take the disc here again, I can drag it in like this, and we might as well use this. I'll select the polygons in the end, B for bevel, B for bevel, B for bevel, B for bevel, and B for bevel, and I'm just going to bridge this again. Combine, bridge, because now we got this nice hole right through, and this has something to stick to. And then in the top we're gonna make some small holes here. 60 is enough. Let's try 30, 40 perhaps, like this. It varies a bit on which pistons you see, but a lot of them have some kind of push down holes in the top here. So I'm going to do that as well. And I'm going to mirror this on this way, and on the center the mirror is Shift V. So I'm going to Boolean subtract this and wish for the best, and we got some nice holes down here. M for merge, and I can then turn off the wire look here, and we now have a piston setup. And as you see here, it's a bit close. We need to drag the piston up, and we need to lengthen this arm here. So we can just do this by selecting this and extending this up. So this is more like it. And then of course, as you see in my other tutorials, you need to place this in the center of the grid, and you need to place the arm, top of the arm here in the center of the grid for this to be animating correctly. But of course we could just here make a quick clone here, so it connects. Let's just take this, and I'm going to drag this over here, like this, and then this is going to be turned around, so I need to select this and turn this upwards, and then I need, of course, to rise this up. So, oh, I didn't get the button here. And we need to move this up here. And as you see still, we need some distance here, so we can just select all this. Move it out. Select this, select connect, clone. I'm going to place this. And again, we need this. Select connect, clone, move over. And then I will of course I need even spacing here. It's about there. And I can take this and put it in like this. And now we got the full setup. Not animated yet, that's your job using the tutorials, but this is actually how you could model a piston set. And you can use all the time you want to get better detail and to adjust for correct proportions and so on, but this is in general the tools how you could set this up. So, have fun!